Now we are shifting from disease epidemiology. Now, Dr. Affendy will deliver a lecture on agriculture. So this is the resume of Dr. Affendy. He's a Deputy Dean of Research and Innovation in Faculty of Tropical Forestry, University Malaysia Sabah or UMS. He is a senior lecturer with over 15 years of teaching experience and head of the UMS Forest Silviculture and Protection Research Group. He's also a recipient of numerous national and international awards, including the silver medal at INA Nuremberg, Germany 2023, gold medals at ITEX and Pecipta, and the Sabah State Top 3 Technologies Award in 2023. He is also the founder president of the Malaysian Society of Agroforestry or MySAF and commission officer of the Royal Malaysian Navy Volunteer Reserve. So give your applause to Dr. Affendy. The time is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Alvin, the moderator and chairman MC for today. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning. So first of all, I would like to thank to especially in Fakultas Kedokteran, UGM, for inviting me to be here to share something about related with the forestry. So actually, this is not my first time to come to UGM because since 2021, I was invited by Fakultas Kehutanan UGM since 2021 to give the same summer course. But this is my first time to deliver this sharing summer course in Fakultas medical faculty. So this is my pleasure to be here. So within 40 minutes, I guess, I will share the. I'm not talking about giving lecture because this is like more discussion, yeah. So I guess you here in the audience have the different backgrounds. So from if I can see the title of talk today from animals and just now, and now we're talking about forestry. So even we are not learned about forestry, we know that the trees very important. We planting trees surrounding the home, and scientifically, when we learn how it's work and how the mechanism, that is more in that knowledge. So yeah, thank you very much for the introduction just now. But I'm really worried about the last part of the introduction about the Navy. So maybe it's a bit sounds weird because why this like academic or lecturer involved in the Navy? So maybe it's quite different from other country because we in Malaysia, they even you are doing US1, they encourage to involve in the, like a uniform society. Yeah. So, but never mind. It's not important. So the important today is we are talking about the title given to me to talk is about urban ecology and agroforestry. So and how we designing the healthy cities. Yeah. So please interrupt me if you have any question. So I don't really like just one way conversation. Yeah. So I'm happy if you have question, want to clarify, just please. So yeah. So the title is in general is about the forestry. Yeah. So how it's work? Okay. It's slowly. Okay. Okay. Okay, the content of my presenting today is now we want to define first the urban ecology and then a bit explanation about the urban ecosystem services and urban agroforestry systems and how we evaluate the benefit of urban green infrastructure and how we propose healthy city design strategies. Yeah. So next. So so the urban cities and why cities need nature. So uh, we cannot deny that today's all over the countries they try to create more building, more towers, the highest towers in the world. Yeah, and then they create more actually dangerous to our land. Yeah, this is nowadays looks and and this is related with the previous topic and the people were talking about the climate change. So the climate change is not the new topic. The people already talking about this the decades, and then this is many factors, underlying factors, causes for this climate change, and one of them because of the deforestation. Yeah, so many causes, and this is also related with political intervention. If we, we have the government, and then at the same time, we think about the people so that they get maintained in the political, in the government position. Yeah, some people they talk, oh, we need the land, we need to expand the land for the consumption for the agricultural land, especially in Malaysia. We are, we are oil palm producers after Indonesia. Yeah, yeah, long time ago is Malaysia, but then Indonesia is huge land and become more the primary oil palm productions, and of course with the price. Yeah. All right. Now we look at the global rumination trend. Yeah, you can see from the graph the trend from 1990s to now, how the urbanization accelerate in the different countries, rapid industrialization in Asia especially, and expansion of an urban region. Then the urban population, yeah, then cities become the dominant and habitats, and then the shifted from simply building cities to creating healthy, resilient, and viable, livable cities. So why? Because now we are more talking about ESG, environmental sustainable governance. Yeah, because we have the 70s SDG. What including in the SDG, for example, the food security, life on land. Yeah, so many things. So now everywhere, if you go, they will ask about the ESG. What the element ESG? Yeah. So we learn from the COVID-19, for example. Yeah, many what we call industries that affected. For example, I give example from pilot. They cannot work, they cannot move, and they're selling burger. Why? Then the food it's become important. Agriculture. Then we move around the route, and then the front liners there, the police and the army, yeah, block in the routes. If you are supplying food, you are simply go. That's important for the food. Then we as consumers, we have to buy the food, and then yeah, with the limited movement, buying the groceries. So meaning that the agriculture input is very important. The food. Whatever you talk in what in the building aspect and the transportation aspect. They come back with the food. Yeah, in agriculture. So this is the balance when we talk about development, yeah, development that we can consider. I remember a colleague from Fakultas Hutan, the lecturer said that we have a huge land of paddy field, but they're still importing the food. We're still importing the rice from Thailand. The same case in Malaysia, yeah, because the expand population. Yeah, I can't remember the population, but then this is, it's stress to the land expansion, even the school, for example. Many people they wanted to send the children to the best school, yeah. And imagine with the huge number of children in the class, yeah. So we can see many examples, yeah. Right. Okay. This is the major urban challenge emerging alongside the urbanization, yeah. So from housing infrastructure in early 1990s, 2000 traffic congestion, yeah. The same case in Malaysia as well. The bad traffic in the big cities, for example, in Jakarta and other cities. The same case in Malaysia as well, in Kuala Lumpur and the big cities all over the world. Then climate change, yeah, climate change, it's a big topic that you can simply Google the search of Gemini or ChatGPT. And urban resilience and healthy cities. Now we come back with the healthy cities. So what the meaning that? And nature-based solution. So if you heard that it's like cities in the forest, yeah, cities in the forest. Why? Very simple. We can imagine that if we stand in the open area outside with the, with the hot sunny and very hot, yeah. But if you compare, if you're standing in the forest, then you feel cool because of the plant. If you're planting the trees, yeah, they absorb the carbon and then they store carbon in the trees, in the trunk, in the roots, and the leaf as a carbon sinks. Yeah, very simple. So they absorb the carbon, CO2. So this is become interest topic, healthy cities. Yeah, because of the, as I mentioned just now about the sustainability element, ESG governance. Yeah, right. So this is the urbanization in Southeast Asia. We don't go any countries. This is a very, you can see the development or urbanization all over the world. For example, in Kuala Lumpur and Bangkok, Manila City, Metropolitan, Hanoi, in Jakarta. So the issues because of this rapid land conversion. For example, if you come today and you come back after not a few years, just come next year, then you can see the change landscape. Yeah, that's because maybe because the human made, but we remember that also become of the natural natural disasters that we don't know. For example, recently what happened, a small earthquake from Manila and affected in Sabah. So if you heard about that in Mindanao Island, yeah. So nobody can expect the warning from the ocean. Okay, tomorrow there will be the earthquake, yeah, and flooding. So we have the track like annual or within 10 years period or 20 years period for the flooding. And then, of course, the government prepared for the how to mitigate the issues by the flooding, for example, and how many affected, and how many people will be die because of the flooding. And this is because the environment. And when I remember, this is also because of the how we manage, we develop the land or the cities. Yeah. And heat stress, of course, heat stress, the people just sitting in the building, doing their laptop and doing the work. Yeah. And how much the energy they use for the aircon, for example, the lights. Now, uh, the countries, this is about also with the energy. Yeah, energy. And now many building that we can see, they creating generate the power from the solar energy and loss of the green space. So very simple. This sounds like very simple, but it's sometimes it's difficult to translate, especially when we talk to the people that don't really understand about the sustainability. Yeah, yeah. Okay. This is urban crisis. I think that very simple that we can see from this slide. Climate driven urban stress, urbanization, and climate feedback. Yeah. Then also related with the environmental. So we can see that many cars, the traffic jam, all people wanted to buy cars. Yeah. From the cheapest car to the expensive cars. Yeah. And we can imagine how much energy and then also how much pollution that they created by the cars. Yeah. So, yeah, then we always remind that we just use the public transport. Maybe in Europe countries they're um, more convenient with the public transport like train. Yeah, for example, and when I was in Denmark, the bicycle it's expensive, but the car is more expensive than that. Then nobody can buy car. Then what option you have? You go to the place by bus and commute. So this is the example how the European countries to what this is indirect strategies so that the people uh, more to use the public transportation because of the environmental issues. And of course, the biodiversity decline in urban areas. Yeah, okay, I give example. One incident last year, it's about elephant. Yeah, I talk in Malaysia about Malaysia. If you remember, it's happened during the Mother's Day. The elephant with his her small baby elephant was hit by the lorry and died. And from the ecologies of elephant, that actually the land the route for the food, but actually it's the highway, and somehow it's die. And the elephant mothers just waiting until the morning because the baby of the elephant was hit by the lorry. Yeah, you can imagine. But then actually that's their route for the food, for the feeding. But somehow the people, or maybe yes, for us, is the human mistake, not consider about this wildlife needs. Yeah. So that's why what happened now? We create the corridor for the wildlife for their movement. Yeah. For example, elephant in the Borneo Island. Yeah. So that's why we have the head of Borneo. Why? So the elephant belongs to Kalimantan, belongs to Sarawak, belongs to Brunei, belongs to Sabah or Malaysia. Yeah, they move. They don't care if they are from Sabah or they're from Kalimantan or from Brunei or Sarawak, but they are on the same island. So this is about wildlife that we need to consider when we try to develop any development the cities. We cannot deny that, but we need to in balance to balance that. Yeah. So public health impacts, urban social stress, human nature disconnection, and combined ecological social crisis. Yeah. Right. This is urban heat islands, or UHI, is the phenomenon that where urban areas exhibit higher and surface temperature than their surrounding rural areas because due to the human activities and modification of land surfaces. Yeah, because if we open the area and we build something, then they create more heat, and at the same time that we need to plan how to control the heat through tree planting. But the very important, we need the very fast growing. If you plant the trees that very slow, then it will take many years to cover the canopy and to get more cooler on that particular area. Yeah, so this is how they design the cities. Yeah. So this is the main cause of the UHI. Um, of course, replacement of natural land cover, concrete, asphalt, and reduce the vegetation evapotranspiration, heat absorption and storage by building, then heat release from the anthropogenic activities like traffic, industry, energy use, and also the urban geometry that traps heat. So how they design also very important because they trap the heat. Yeah. For example, the straight canyon, dense buildings. Yeah. So later we'll show you when we use the how the agroforestry can be used in designing the cities. This is the factor, urban densities and building height, surface material, yeah, very important as well. Either they absorb the heat or they create more heat, and the amount of vegetation cover. So the choosing of trees also important. For example, if we need to need more uh, cover, then we need the broadleaf trees rather than the small trees. And we think also about the how we maintain the trees. Yeah, then we can see the people or the workers keep maintains the roots because of the biomass and wind speed and atmospheric condition. How to reduce the wind speed because this also may affect by the as I mentioned by the natural disasters. Is more wind that may affect dangerous or the building collapse or any trees that collapse and hit to the building and population density and energy consumption pattern. Yeah. So the impact of UHI increase the energy of demand for cooling. Yeah. And his stress on humans' health, reduce thermal comfort in outdoors environment, and also the contribution to air population formation, for example, ozone, and environmental stress on urban ecosystem. Now, urban crisis that leads to the biodiversity loss. Now, we all the countries are talking about the carbon credit, carbon trading. Yeah. So if long time ago, when they talk about the trees, they just look at the yield, the timber, how they produce, they sell it, yeah, and creating more logs to fill and they sell it. That's the creating deforestation. Yeah, for example, many countries. But not only that, not because of the money, but now we think about the carbon. But the carbon is still the current issue, how the mechanism, how the pricing. But at the same time, now we talk about the biodiversity. Yeah, biodiversity. You cut it, the trees, but we lose the biodiversity. Yeah. Just example, if we, for example, if we do the annual crops, yeah, annual crops, we open back the area, we harvest, and we put the machine, the tillage. At the same time, we create damage to the biodiversity. For example, the soil fauna in the soil. just a few centimeter. Yeah. So imagine about the big animals, the fauna, like this in the picture. Yeah. So this is about the biodiversity loss. Right. Yes. This is a driven threats of to biodiversity. So many things that I mentioned just now, it's because of many things. The climate change, yeah, deforestation and habitat fragmentation, soil erosion. So this coming up from the opening area, then create more soil erosion. A few days ago, I went to Magelang area to visit the living lab, one of the professor here in Fakultas Pertanian, and we can see the landslide and soil erosion. Yeah, what can be done to avoid that the problem? Growing population, the human, build up the surfaces, the building, cities, transportation, yeah, air pollution, pollution as well, then water pollution. This is create many things. When the increase of the population increase with the population, water pollution, air pollution, yeah. Then from this pollution, if you go to the people, then we mix with them. That's crowded. They create disease. Yeah, some people get flu, the bacteria, and so on. Yeah? And of course, the noise pollution. Yeah, that create noise. Next, now this is urban food security. So we still talking about the food security. For example, during the festival, for example, Hari Raya, yeah, Ramadan, and the Ministry of Agriculture or Food, they saying, oh, we cukup sapi untuk ini kurban, for example, yeah. So we talking about the food. We can see many sapi in the farm, but not enough, not sufficient. The same case um, in Malaysia as well. We're still importing rice from neighbor countries. Okay. So I got a warning from the secretary. I have to go faster, yeah? 15 minutes. Okay. This is the urban crisis. So many things. Challenge of urbanization, high dependence of external food supply, yeah? Like I mentioned just now. And what is very important, COVID-19 lesson on urban food security. So which the limited land, what we can create. For example, the greenhouse with the limited space that we can produce more output. For example, the greenhouse, for example, they produce the salad, for example, without huge land. Yeah. And equal food access within cities. Yeah, that's also the crisis about the food. So can cities function more like natural ecosystem? So like this that I mentioned just now. Yeah. Uh, Interaction between the living organism and their physical environment within urban areas. That's the broad benefits of urban ecology. So now we can see even the people staying in the apartment, they can plant vegetable for their own consumption. Apa kalau di Malaysia dia panggil itu dapur apa dapur kebun lah, something lah like that. I don't know in Indonesia what they call dapur kebun, kebun dapur, I don't know. So the ministry create the idea like that. So rather than you buy to the what to the grocery apa tu ke pasar, then you just harvest your vegetable that you plant in the house with the limited space, something like that. And so this is the ecology. I don't want to talk about this. I just skip. So important of urban ecology. Yeah, this is improve air quality, enhance stormwater management, conserve urban diversity, and carbon sequestration. The social impact, yeah, improve public health, mental well-being, recreational opportunities. Yeah, sometimes we need the recreational activities. Otherwise, you just get stressed with your work. Like mine, I can only maybe 10 minutes in front of my laptop. Otherwise, I just walk around. Yeah, this is about the ergonomics. Yeah, like I don't know in any office that they use adjustable table. Sometimes we need to stand while doing your laptop, and sometimes we need to just sit for a few minutes. Otherwise, you just walk. Yeah, that's very important. Community and engagement. Yeah, family day. I can see Indonesian here. They're very good in family day. They're very, strong with the family days every weekends. Economic importance. So many things that we can see from here. Yeah. Uh, Economic importance. Then, right, the city as an ecosystem. Yeah. I just skip this. So it's the component of urban ecosystem. There are two. In general, biotic components, yeah, humans, plants, animal, microorganism, and the interaction are biotic, the non-living components. In the simple way, the climate, the water, the soil, the air, the environment. Yes, next. Okay, what is nature-based solution or NBS? It's action that protect, restore, sustainably manage, and utilize natural or modified ecosystem to address societal challenge. Yeah. Okay, what we can see for an NBS, work with natural process rather than against them like this. Yeah. Um, from the medical school of faculty, then we will learn about the environmental aspect. Yeah. Provide multiple benefits from a single intervention. Nowadays the people more multidisciplinary. Yeah. Multidisciplinary from the agriculture aspect, from the GIS aspect, forestry aspect, environmental aspect, so many things. So integrate social, ecological, and economic objectives and support environment and involve green and blue infrastructure in urban landscape. Okay. Addressing climate change, biodiversity conservation, I mentioned just now, rapid urbanization, responding to the rapid urbanization, and improving human well-being. Okay, urban flooding, this is a challenge. Yeah, pollution, I think I already covered just now. So urban forest, green roof, yeah, green roof. That's actually we can see many nowadays. They put green in the building, yeah, vertical, horizontal, like this to make cooler, yeah. Like what I said, the building in the forest or the cities in the forest, yeah. So by the WHO, it's not necessarily the cities that achieve a particular level of health, but continually creating and improving at the physical and soil environmental, expanding community resources. So this is the looks like we need green at the same time. We cannot see the just gray color. Yeah. So equity, participation, sustainability, and intersect collaboration. This is the key for principle for healthy cities. Yeah, equity, participation. Everyone get involved. Yeah, for the health city and sustainability, of course. This is green versus gray infrastructure, as I mentioned just now. So I skip this. Now, urban agroforestry. So now we talk about agroforestry. So in simple word, agro means agriculture and forestry is forestry. We combine forestry and agroforestry. Yeah. So if we talk about the forestry, the people might think that forestry, we plant trees and then we had to wait maybe until I die and my next generation will harvest that agroforestry. Now we're creating same like just I mentioned that the kebun dapur. Yeah. Actually, we practice this because this is like home garden. If you remember, if you stay in kampung, that we can see surrounding your home, you have what? You have goat, you have chicken, you have paddy, you have coconut, you have everything. That's the agroforestry. That's the home garden practice. So in other words, that is a combination of at least two component, trees and agriculture. Yeah, at least two. But maybe you have three livestock. You have chicken, you have goat, you have sapi, you have anything. Huh? You have baby, whatever. Yeah, that's the agroforestry. So we can see the combination here, the difference. I'm not go in depth on this, but we can see in the forest ecosystem, in the agriculture ecosystem, and the agroforest system, they combine. So in other words, in this, actually, this is achieve the complementarity. Yeah, complement, saling melengkapi. Yeah, saling melengkapi. For example, if you can see on the picture here, on the upper layers, sometimes they have at least 17 nutrients. That's they are mobile and not mobile. Yeah. For example, nitrogen is very mobile in the soil, and the captured by the trees. And whereas the phosphorus is not mobile, they captured by that can fully utilized by the small crops like agriculture crops. So this is the example. So I think I skip this. This is the SDG goals about agroforestry. Why? From there, the food, the energy, and the water. Yeah. This is the concept. As I mentioned just now, this is the land use type. Yeah. The various technique that you can see. So I think we just go to see the examples of agroforestry. Actually, they have a classification. They have the in terms of the nature, in terms of the dominant components, and how the arrangement and how the stratification by spacing or vertical or spatial, yeah, or temporal. Okay. So in agroforestry, they had two at least. They are protection and also the production. Yeah. Okay. This is the spatial. It can be the block. It can be the inter row. Yeah, it can be by the interrow, interplanting, something else. It depends. Sometimes like this, the perimeter planting. Sometimes it's the interrow, block planting. Yeah. So this is the system. The system like the agri-silviculture means the two combination. The system they call agri-silviculture. So silviculture from forestry, agri is agriculture. So for example, if you're planting trees and you have the agriculture crops, that's called as the agri-silvicultural system. Okay, I don't go to later you can read. Silvopastoral is the system we can combination with silvo, trees, and pastoral is the livestock component. For example, you have trees and they have the cows or the trees they call as silvopastoral. Yeah, there are two combination. And the next, okay, this is the example. So this is the agro silvo pastoral, the combination of trees. The very simple, the system. Yeah, you have trees, you have the crops or horticulture, and you have also the animal livestock. That's they call as agro silvo pastoral. The three combination. So we can see surrounding. Then you can learn after this what the system that you learn from this slide. Okay. Okay, this is the explanation. This is the practice. I think I will go quickly. This is the home garden as mentioned just now, yeah? This is home garden. You can see surrounding your home if you back to your home. If not, otherwise, if you stay in the apartment that you can see this, yeah? This is Taunya system, Taunya practice. Protein bank for the cows if you plant the elephant grass that you want to feed to your cows in the kandang, for example, this protein bank. Improve fellows. This is common in Europe. Yeah. Apiculture, if you have the madu, yeah, that you grow under the trees. For example, here in Indonesia, under Sengon, and the what else? The trees, yeah, and the karet trees. They also the practice that. This is apiculture. So this is one of also one of practice of agroforestry. Living fence. This is like the pagar, yeah, pagar hidup, yeah. You can use the Glyris decipium or any trees. This is shelter belt. Yeah, because why? This is for a protection from the wind speed to reduce the wind speedity. Yeah, this is more to protection. This is common also in Europe. Yeah, you can see many trees. They actually they, for example, in Europe, there's some of the countries the flat areas. They plant like this actually just to because the windy season. So they try to reduce the wind speedity. Okay, this is early cropping. So we can see any practices outside the combine of trees and also any other crops, agriculture. So this is we can see the ecological succession as a model for improving the soil. So actually, it's not about the above ground, but we can see that it also can improve the soil. Yeah, system and practices. The management and how the agroforestry support food security. You can see agroforestry for food, for income, for livestock, environment. Yeah, environment because why? The waste from the animal can be used for the agriculture, for the fertilizer, natural fertilizer for the agriculture. We can see the balance. Yeah. So this is how the forest support food security. Yeah. At least for own consumption. Yeah. Saradiri. Yeah. Saradiri. Yeah. Kalau integrated farming system and the components. I try to finish maybe just a few slides. Yeah. Case study. This is case study that you can read later on. Next. So cities ecosystem. This is final slide. So nature provides essential services, can produce food, ecological benefit, and require current infrastructure for healthy cities. And of course, future urban development must integrate ecology. So I think that's all about it. So thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you for the presentation, Dr. Affendy. So from this session, we know that the urban development in many countries, not only in Indonesia, also face the same fate that the development is tend to be more anthropocentrist. So we did not think about the animal, the trees, just carried down for the sake of the development. But now we know that the development could be done without cutting down trees or remove the native animals from the environment. So is there any question for Dr. Affendy? Okay, see 3 question, 4, okay. Please introduce yourself and your question.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Ahmad Solihin. You can call me Asol. Thank you, Dr. Affendy, for your presentation. I have a question. As an expert in forestry, what is your opinion about the government that doing legal deforestation or land conversion for new capital like in IKN is Kalimantan, or a national program like national program or PSN in Merauke, Papua? Did the government considering the agroforestry system to do it? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, your first question just now is legal deforestation, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. From my opinion, I think different countries they have the policy. Yeah, I just remember in my country, in Malaysia particularly, Semenanjung Malaysia, Peninsula Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak, they have their own policy. Because the forestry actually, because by the British colonial, the management is different. So nowadays, the forestry department or Dinas Kehutanan actually open the big companies to manage the forest. Yeah. So it's like 50 years or 100 years concession. They manage. Yeah. So easy for the department, and they do the harvesting every year, but at the same time, they have to manage the forest. So it depends to them how the annual coup. Yeah. So nowadays, no more deforestation from natural forests. We don't do that. Whatever forest that I don't know here in Indonesia what they call. It's like permanent forest and natural forest. No more deforestation. Now this is related with the EUDR. The same like we have the commodity where we have under Ministry of Commodity and Primary Industries, including forestry, timber, and also the commodity like rubber, cocoa, and oil palm. And to comply the EUDR, when they open the area, no more open area, especially for deforestation. Otherwise, they will ban for the product. So this is how they manage, yeah, to comply with the EUDR. So to answer that question, I think I think Indonesia, they have their own policy on the legal deforestation, but in Malaysia case, we have the what normal logging in natural forests. Yeah, even we have different class of forest. For example, class number 1, if the forest is class number 1, it's totally protected. There is no deforestation. Yeah, but class number 2 is the productive, means we can log. But before they doing that, they have the inventory if the forest is rich or not, rich in terms of the valuable timber. Yeah. So I think I hope answer your questions. But you have question number 2. What's that?
Did the government should considering some the agroforestry system to
Yeah.
do it?
Okay. Yeah, I think in Indonesia they have very good in terms of agroforestry because of the policy I mentioned just now. Same like in Philippines, in Thailand, in other countries, maybe also in India or Pakistan. Because I think here Indonesia is very good in terms of the community forestry, to get involved the people to manage together with the forest. Yeah. So I think that's a very clear. That's why we can see, especially in Central Java, they have the many agroforestry practices. From that slide that I shared just now, it's many combination, many practices, and also the system. Yeah. So yes, of course, the agroforestry is for the Indonesian context is very important. But in Malaysia, the policy of agroforestry is not really clear, because our more on the the commodity like oil palm, rubber, and so on. But we also encourage the agroforestry, as I mentioned, just for the saradiri. Yeah, to reduce like stress, food. But we hopefully that the government, because we don't know, because the government always change every 5 years, then they come with different story. They do this and they do this, and yeah, you don't know. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Any other question?
Hello, Dr. Affendy. My name is Faisal. I have a background in social anthropology. In my view, urban ecology and agroforestry practice in city will be difficult to implement effectively as long as the structural problems such as inequality between urban and rural areas remain unresolved. Cities depend heavily on rural region as source of food and other resources. For example, Jakarta relies on the West Java for the food supply. Jakarta tanpa Jawa Barat gak bakal bisa hidup mereka. At the same time, many structural issues affecting farmers, such as low incomes, unequal access to resources, and persistent feudal-like relation in land ownership and agricultural productions have yet to be addressed. As a result, many farmers seek alternative livelihood by migrating to the city. This process ultimately contributes to urban population concentration. As more people compete for limited land and housing, it becomes increasingly difficult to preserve green space or development urban ecological practice. In the case of Jakarta and its surrounding regions, I believe environmental challenge cannot be separated from the structural inequalities between rural and urban area that continue to drive migration and massive development. Given these structural inequalities, how do you see the prospect of urban ecology and agroforestry practices? Are ecological solutions alone sufficient, or do they need be accompanied by more fundamental socio-economic transformation to reducing this inequality? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Okay, to answer this question, actually, for the government level, it's not standalone. Yeah, because of course the different expertise, they not only on the ministry level. Sometimes the ministry they don't know. They are just appointed by the prime minister or the president. Yeah, and even they have the advisor, ataupun dipanggil apa setiap politik and don't know. And depends to what the advisor they have. Yeah, sometimes they have, if they go to the each ministry to get data, but to realize this, actually they must cooperate, not only one ministry or not only in the single ministry. Yeah, from the forestry expert, NGO expert, yeah, the academic expert, then that can be realized. Yeah, so I think it also happened in other countries. Then when we, because this is about the policy, so that's why in the government, especially in Dewan Rakyat, they appointed the academic person, yeah, or also who are working on that particular, for example, yeah, something people that the working in the environment expert, forestry. Then we need to sit together. Then we can do that. But that's why, as I mentioned, this is easy to talk, but difficult to to translate. Yeah, from the slide, yeah, very easy. We can do this. But who are we talking to the big people like ministry, right? But of course, we have the platform to deliver that the idea, yeah, because of course in every country they have like, yeah, for example, in my country, for example, we have the higher education ministry, and they come up with the many proposal to study this, yeah. And I think also the same with Indonesia, yeah. So I think that's I mentioned what I mentioned just now. So we need to sit together, then yeah, we can achieve this. Either they accept or not, it's depend to them. The idea, yeah. I
Thank you.
hope I answer your question. Yeah.
Okay, there's sorry for there is an intermezzo. Please show the question from the Zoom. There's one online question, Dr. Affendy. This is Joseph from Philippines.
Thank you, Joseph from Philippines. Okay. Yes, this is about the wildlife habitat encroachment while also meeting the livelihood needs of communities living near protected areas. Yeah, I think this is a common issues. Yeah, I remember in Malaysia, we visited many companies plantation that facing with the same issues. Yeah, for example, in oil palm, even a small oil palm, smallholder oil palm, they have the elephant that damage the oil palm, young oil palm that just planting. Yeah, the damage. And other than that, the monkey, long-tailed macaque, yeah, also damage the farm. What else? Babi hutan, yeah, this is common. Yeah, I think maybe the same case also in Indonesia or Philippines. Gajah, yeah, landak, landak. The landak always eat the young shoot of the oil palm. So you imagine how much they lost only for the replacement of the the seedling. But this is only happen just in the border. Yeah. So they do many mitigation, like they put the zinc, but you can imagine how much the cost for each, and then they have to do that for thousands, 10,000 and above the seedlings, right? Right. So yes, as I mentioned, this is wildlife conflict when we open areas. Maybe for for the insect may be easy because, for example, in apiculture we can create more nectars, the horticultures to create honey. They can absorb many plants surrounding the area. But this is difficult for the big animal that they encroach and they damage our plant, our farm. Then yes, I think this is different. It's up to depends to what the types of animals, the wildlife animals that encroach to the farm. Yeah. Now I share, like, this is common, like happen in our campus, for example. I just a bit away from this question. I give example, long-tailed macaque in campus in my campus. You know, the student always feeding them. Yeah, feeding them with nasi kuning, kui. You know what happened? You change the behavior of the animal. They're supposed to take fruit, the wild fruit in the forest. Somehow you give chicken, KFC, McDonald. That's this animal. Wow, ini sedap lagi. Ini lagi sedap daripada bau hutan. You see, you change the behavior actually. That's why when they cuti, for example, cuti semester break. Hey, where is the people? Where's the ladies that always feeding me? Yeah, they come to the building. They take the shoes, they take everything, they take the penyapu and so on. You see, I'm not the wildlife expert, but I learned from my friend. Actually, you change the behavior. So it's not because when you go to the zoo or anything, then when the guide say, don't feed them, right? Same case like if you, I don't know, if you go to Sabah, they have the orangutan rehabilitation. You know, the orangutan along the way, they always waiting you, they catch that's why they remind, don't put your handphone like this. Some they jump and put your handphone, then just bye your handphone. Yeah. Because the people already changed the behavior. So it's not because what pity with them, why we cannot feeding them. No, because that's, you don't know, because the wildlife access more knows about that. Yeah. So this, I don't know. I don't know why this habitat, but we need to think that why they damage, why they encroach. Yeah. Otherwise, for example, for example, in this case, if let's say the long-tailed macaque, what they need, then you have to plant lah. Maybe coconut. Yeah, coconut, just a border planting. So to create food for them as a natural food. Don't feed them with the nasi lemak or nasi kuning, or then that's a big trouble. And the future generation of long-tail macaque, they don't know, yeah, because even the animals, but in psychology, yeah, you change the behavior actually, yeah. So my suggestion is that to this question to Joseph, maybe what we can do is we create the natural fruit for particular wildlife. Yeah, for the elephant, what they need. Yeah, maybe have to plant more bananas, or landak or whatsoever. So because it's not really specific. Yeah, so that's my suggestions to avoid this happen in the future. So yeah, thank you, Joseph, for the question. I hope I answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Affendy. Maybe one more question. Okay, so
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So my name is Mohammad Arif, and I am from Pakistan. So my question is about the deforestation in case of the palm oil. I think that Malaysia is also one of the biggest palm oil exporter, and as compared to Indonesia, Indonesia lost 400,000 hectares in 2025 and 2024 because of the palm oil. So what do you think that in your country, how does the government keeps balance between the palm oil and the forestry, because you also the one of the greatest exporter of the palm oil? Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, yes, we do agree that we have oil palm. Yeah, we have oil palm, but at the same time we conserve the forest. So since EUDR introduced no more land expansion for the agriculture, either for oil palm, for the rubber, and cocoa. And for information, the owner of land in Malaysia is different. Yeah. For example, the people might confuse why this forest cut it. Yeah. But for us, we know because I'm forester. Or this land belongs to the state government, not belongs to the Dinas Kehutanan. And one more thing, it's owned by the, how to say, pribumi. Pribumi means the local people, by Tanah Adat. Yeah. So, if the land owned by the state government, no more deforestation, no more land expansion for agriculture by the UDR. So now the people from Europe, FSC, and so on, they come to Sabah to check the land. Yeah, they can replant the land from the previous land, but not for opening new land. So this is the balance. Yeah. Even just now I mentioned that the concession company, they have to manage for within some company, they have the 50 years. Some of them, maybe the big company, they have the 100 years concession. The Dinas Kehutanan or Forestry Department say, I don't know, I just take royalty from you, but you have to comply. But we just come to check your forest, you know, to meet all the, just sustainable environmental aspect and so on. Yeah. So in Malaysia, no more deforestation. If there deforestation, that's illegal. Yeah. So this is how we balance the forestry and also the agriculture. Yeah. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Affendy. Maybe one more question. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for for the time. My name is Juanisa. So I did a lot of research on human and wildlife conflict, actually, sir. And one of the one of a very common questions here between wildlife conflict and One Health is, what if, yeah, in the future we succeeded to create this urban ecology. So a lot of cities turn to greens and lots of nature around the city area, but the wildlife are coming into the cities. And like One Health, one big factor of One Health is interaction between wildlife and humans. And we just want to know what's your perspective on that. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So whatever we do, actually, they create more opportunities or potential. Yeah, so same like other cases. Yeah, what is not, this maybe this is solution only applicable only a few years. Then they will create more opportunity or potential to us to study more. Yeah, I give example. Acacia, it's originally from Australia. Yeah, same also eucalyptus. Yeah, I just give the analogy like this. Yeah. Yeah, in Sabah we plant acacia, pelita, eucalyptus pelita, because that is a fast-growing species. Even they are exotic species. Why? Because if we waiting from the native species, especially Meranti and so on, then how we sustain the production, especially for the mill, for the timber production, because this is contribute to our GDP for the country. So what the solution? We use the exotic species, right? Okay, and then we believe that they are far away from their pests and disease because they're from the subtropic to the tropics, all right? But then after a few years, they create more pests and disease. That's why no more. Now we don't plant anymore acacia because of the ceratostaisis. They create problem. You see, same like the question. We apply the urban in the cities and they create the more this. So in general, I can say that this is more future. We have to study how to control that. Otherwise, the people cannot do S2 and S3. Yeah. So I hope I answer your question. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. Yeah. We can see the occurrence, the incident. It's if in plantation, if that's create more than 50% economical damage, then that's a serious. Then we need to study more intensive. Yeah. 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 Yes. Yeah. 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 Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that question. Very, very good point. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys for all your questions, and thank you Dr. Affendy for the lecture. And please give our biggest applause to Dr. Affendy.
Thank you very much. So I'm happy that so many questions. I think that there's still more questions. So I'm happy that I'm not talking alone. Yeah. If no more question, I mean I lost. Maybe they lost. They don't know. So I'm happy. If you ask me, that meaning that you understand what I'm delivered. So thank you, but thank you very much again.